Hey, welcome to the stream tonight, guys. We're going live. And so we're just going to get a couple of things done tonight. We're going to talk about, I'm going to show you guys, I made some updates to the marriage dissolution lawsuit package, and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to show those to you. I'm going to have a live stream specifically for, we're going to put another banner across for the marriage dissolution package. I got quite a few calls and a few emails. Thank you, Hector, for emailing me. I hope you went and looked at the package. Maybe we can talk tomorrow. People had questions about it. And, one of the questions there that people are asking is, well, will it, stop this or stop that? Well, yes, it will. It works out better if you go and read the thing than the product page, and you have an idea what it does. Our goal is to stop the court process. That's and I didn't say nothing at the time because when you raise kids, and my daughter told me that there's time when you're supposed to be listening, and there's time. We did talk later, and my opinion, if you're waiting to get your day in court, then you're not using the products that you get here the way that they've been designed based off of the real-time feedback from all of the people that participated in helping us put this together. Okay, you're not. That's just my opinion. And the problem with that is, well, there's a whole bunch, but the main problem with that is that having my day in court is not the most important thing. Number one is staying in your house. The judge is not going to rule for you. He's not going to rule in your favor because the state court judge is getting paid. They're all bar members and they're all making money from doing it. And this is what the system. So having your day in court, you're not approaching this. The way I like to do it is to make them go sit down, to punch them until they go sit down, feeling like you're feeling right now, or worse, especially with the RICO. Having your day in court, and their court is administrative in nature, and they make up their own rules. They don't follow them, but they want you to follow them. And those rules are connected to the Constitution. They're not laws. They don't have an okay, come on. Y'all keep with me. So that's one of the things that I think people need to understand. In the non-conventional program, where you're holding those players that are doing this accountable, then there's no, I want my day in court, because you should be showing the judge is getting paid by the state. So how is that going to be a way to have you in their administrative process or they file foreclosure against your property using statutes and codes? And statutes and codes are not valid laws. They don't have enacting clauses, titles, or bodies. Okay, so there's no having my day in court. You don't want to be in court. I'm just saying, they don't let you go to court unless they figured out how they're going to do the check down on you. That's my opinion. Okay, you guys, we got another YouTube channel over at Coach's Kitchen, and we got a few videos posted over there. Oh, so heck, are you the person that emailed me today? How cool is this? Okay, so that's a good question. So number one, it's not going to matter because what you're the plaintiff of is fraud because you didn't have all full disclosure or whatever. So, okay, and I used to document it myself. And I'll tell you, we put it together for my foster kid, and you can go to the YouTube channel and you can punch in there my foster kid or divorce, whatever. And the divorce was dismissed. It was, I had jacked with these people for quite a while because my foster kid let me do whatever I wanted. And that's how I learned. Now, this process is structured to, okay, why don't we do it like this? We're just going to get off the script here. I'm going to do a screen share. Well, let me pull it up first. I'm going to pull it up. And then it'll be easier for you to see. And I want to show it anyway, because we have the instructions in that bad boy now. Okay. Looking at the product page is the easiest way for me. Okay, so I'm going to close up a couple of more things here because we'll need. Okay, so we're going to do a screen share. Okay, now this is what the package looks like, and the way this works, you don't need the consent from any other party. And the crust of it, at the end is you're going you don't have to address the infidelity or any of the other stuff, at least here. Maybe later on, because this doesn't divide your property, nor does it come up with a plan for the kids. This just makes the marriage legally dissolved the same way they made it legal, which is placing it in the public record. Now, in the end, they're going to dissolve it the same way you learn how to do it now. Just put it in a public record. Okay, but they don't want to call it that. They want to call it divorce. You need to get an attorney, and the shit is a business. It is. It's very bad business. And then when you do that, you have to give. You probably know. Okay, so let's scroll on down. So the problem that you have is that you have to turn over your financial records and all of your stuff to strip your property away. You get less than half because by the time they get done taking for all these fees and whatever. But the truth is you don't have to play. Every state has a marriage dissolution document in their, but it's buried way down there. Now, it's not the same thing you get here. Don't get it twisted, because we've learned that you can follow all of the laws and do what you're supposed to do, but on a state level, they're still going to try to ignore it and drag. So this package allows you to dissolve your marriage through the public record and use the federal court only if needed to stay in control every step of the way. So if needed, what does that mean? Well, if they give you a hard time about placing on the public record, which in most cases they don't. Okay, but in my foster kid's case, he found some Joshua Matthews, attorney out of Overland Park, Kansas, to come down to Lawrence and file him. And so, well, they had to drop that. You can case dismissed. There's a bunch of videos on that. Okay, so this is, with this package, you'll record your notice of marriage. You'll stop the state from dragging you into the costly divorce litigation. Okay, so if you're already in that, you can dismiss that. If you're the plaintiff, you can do whatever the hell you want to. What I would probably do, Hector, is just let them decide what the hell they want to do with it. I wouldn't even worry about it, because in this program, you're going to be suing the state and the judge. And I'd be focusing my time on getting this stuff done and let them worry about it, because what they got to, there's administrative, and even though you paid to go there, you had no idea what the hell was going on for real. And now this all also depends on, what your goal is. And my opinion, for me, going through this, being in control would be the number one goal. And then the number two goal would be to decide myself what I want to do with this stuff, especially if the other person was cheating or whatever. Because when it comes to the cheating, in my opinion, once the cheating happens, okay, that cancels off the marriage contract that they tricked you into signing in the first place. Okay, that's when the cheating when the cheating happens, then the contract's been violated. And when the contract's violated, you don't just go back, you get another contract, or you do what needs to be done. This allows you to keep your property, your money, your private information safe from the attorneys and the bar members. And if you already get them, you get it. And you would be suing them for the process. You don't necessarily have to make it about the ex or whatever, because the whole process is fraudulent, and you'll learn about that. Now, if they file something against you already, then we use a counterclaim to jam up the state court. And you can use, there's also an actual lawsuit in the package to use that, if they want to do what they did. And that caused it to get dismissed. Now, in my foster kid's case, I had to leave the state. So right now it's on hold. It's been dismissed with prejudice, because I didn't serve everybody. Well, I tried to email them and give them all the stuff, but they didn't take. But that's all right. We'll get that back up and running back up and rolling when we get on the list. Now, when we get everything caught up. Now, what this does is that it ends the marriage legally in the public record without the need for a divorce court. It takes away the judge's authority, and by proving that the dissolution is already completed. Now you see, it forces the attorney and the bar members on defense instead of allow them to control you. It blocks the divorce process before it starts and stalls the system, so they can't push forward. And that's, there's no day in court. Okay, you have to chop that, and it creates evidence for a federal court with a certified copy of the complete docket sheet. And once you're ready to go to federal court or you file a federal court, you should get that. I would get the docket sheet long before it, early, because once you go to the federal court, they're going to try to fill it out with a bunch of nonsense and BS. And like, so we checked the docket sheet. We checked it. We checked to see what was on the docket several times and had them print out the same thing each time. And then all of a sudden, okay, this turns the system upside down by making them justify their misconduct instead of you begging for recognition. And this is, you're not asking permission. This is about declaring your freedom and forcing the system stop. Okay, so inside you get the marriage dissolution document that you're placing in the public record, and then you have a judicial notice of dissolution that, you know, they're both written. One is for the public record, one is styled to file in court. So basically, if you file your lawsuit in federal court, then you will want to provide a copy of your marriage dissolution showing that you already crushed that stuff. Okay, so you would introduce that by using a judicial notice of dissolution, and then you would attach the marriage dissolution to it as an exhibit to get it in the federal court case without them arguing it, without them objecting, whatever. So then we already talked about the counterclaim. It's not a template. I need to change that. It's actually the counterclaim is the lawsuit. And so the other thing with the state court has is that we use federal case law in all of the stuff and federal acts, so it can't respond to anything that you file in the case because they don't have a federal bar card and they can't respond to federal case law with statutes and codes. Okay, you can file higher court case law in the lower court, but you can't go the other way. So why this works? The public record power. The notice is stronger than the state license. And once recorded, the divorce court loses its claim to authority. It's simple. And keep in mind, to make it legal, the divorce that they call it legal, they're going to do the same thing after they get done doing all of this stuff to you. They're going to place it in the public record right over there. I don't know. This shifts the power. Instead of you defending yourself, the judge, the bar members, they must defend their misconduct. And, you know, financial protection. No more draining your savings, splitting the property, giving attorneys control of your life. Now, you know, the reality of it is something's got to be done with the property if you have property together, whatever. Maybe, I don't know. That's up to you now if you're the one in charge of it. When you get done doing this beat down with them with these documents, I don't think there's going to be too many other attorneys that's going to be jumping up to help the other person get in your face. And it's just what I think. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think we got the firepower here to handle it if somebody wants to do that. The statement of constitutional emergency forces your federal filing to be moved up to the higher court, and the higher court strips away the administrative. This is their own. Look this shit up. Strips away the administrative crap that you were dealing with on the state level, and they can only rule on the constitutional issues. And we've been putting this statement of constitution. The statement of constitutional emergency and everything that we make now, because why not? And we also go in with the fraudulent concealment in most of our stuff, which tolls the statute of limitations. It's funny we can get around their stuff. Who this is for? Men and women who want out of the marriage without being trapped in divorce court. Families who refuse to let attorneys and judges dictate their lives. Anyone ready to fight back and use the law to protect themselves against being exploited. Legal coaches who want to start a legal business doing this, and if you invest in this as a legal coach, then you get coaching behind the scenes. So you can see right there, you can take control of the day. You don't need permission to place this document in the public record. And to be honest with you, you can write it up yourself and go place it in the record. Now, here is the cool stuff right here. Now, we're going to start doing this to all of our packages where we actually put in here the order that you file and a little bit about why you're filing it so people can understand a little bit more about what they're doing and don't have to go find that damn video. So we're making these changes to make our products easier for people to understand, which means it's going to bring value to the table for you and and for us. So you can see here, the first thing that you want to file, and it tells you here, and it removes the judge's claim authority. The second thing is you want a certified copy of the notice. Always it tells you, walks you right now. Probably going to be something here that people get somebody. This covers in general, and I think it's a real good job right here. I think if there ain't anything different that you think needs to be done, you should probably check me out in the group at Neighbors Coach and ask me about it, because if you make changes that are connected to their conventional system, then you just open the door for them to come in and stomp in your face. Just saying. And then here's the bar card, $75, and we're gonna end up at the top of the page here for all that for $300. Yeah, I know, people spend way more than that on this situation. Okay, so let's go back up here, talk to Heck Mel. Nope, it ain't gonna matter. And you're welcome. Yeah, dude, this, you're gonna have to get me a Google review, or not Google review, a video review, because Google kicked me out when we got these people their deed. I didn't do it. Nikki Ross had some people, she helped them get their deed out of their office. Yeah. Damn, man, I gotta wait till Thursday. I'm gonna have to put the price up. No, I'm just messing with you. Okay, cool. You comprehend. Okay, good. And this is the thing. Attorneys come in and start telling you a whole bunch of shit, and none of it makes any sense. If it don't make no sense, why the hell would you do it? You don't need to go to law school or have a degree to figure out if the shit makes sense. Now, if they give you a hard time, heck, I even got another. We just put together the notice of less pendants package, and you can put a lien on whatever you want. Yeah, we bring it. We don't play around over here. I do not charge enough to be playing around. Yeah, we need our stuff to be getting it done so people can get on down there. And that's where the coaching takes place. And we're going to have another place where we're going to be coaching so people don't have to get on Twitter and navigate all that, because some of you old people. Okay, sorry. Some of you people have trouble with that. Well, heck, I appreciate it, man. I actually appreciate it from everyone. And I'm going to make sure that we get a donation link on our homepage. If anybody would like to make a donation to help a family, or just a donation to help me keep this thing going, you'll be able to make a donation, and it would be much appreciated. Okay, cool. You representing yourself. Look at you go. Yeah, no, actually, you're not representing yourself, man. You about to whoop their ass is what you about to do, because that's, you get that package and you take a look at the options that you have in there. No, we got my vice case dismissed. I got a whole bunch of videos on the website, and I was thinking the other day, and I was pulling up, looking at, damn, case dismissed. Oh, I forgot about that shit. Damn. I gave myself a video review live stream. Oh yeah, and I got 5.5 stars. I think that's all you can get is 5.5. And the case got dismissed, and we built a whole new thing out of it. We was calling it the divorce crusher or something, but we changed it back to the marriage dissolution, because that's what people were asking about when they called in or when they emailed me or whatever about it. That's what they asked about. And you can go and find that. Joshua Matthews, the attorney that, he had it on his website, the marriage dissolution, down there at the bottom. Yeah, I'm sure he didn't tell anybody about it. And so we told him we're going to put, and we're going to do this because we got the documents in the inventory now. I didn't have documents in the inventory when I was talking shit before, but we told him we're going to put a lien against the judge's office. Judge has an office. The judge has an office down the street from the courthouse. And so, we looked up the information, and it shows on the internet that the office has 39 residents. So I went and looked at it, and it's law offices. So They're not residents. It's a commercial building. So, somebody on my staff reported her to the IRS, and in a couple of videos, then I questioned why that would be that way. If there was any incentive for placing your commercial building as in the paperwork as it was private. Anyway, they'll be figuring all of that out. Pro Se Lawsuit Center. That's where the coaching takes place. And if the questions or the situation that you have is a little hot and one of us is about to make the other one run laps, because I've had a few people. Okay, so then that discussion we have in the private messaging system there. And then once we get it worked out, then I put it in the group what the situation was and what we did to take control of it or whatever. But I don't mention who was or anything like that, because here in this program, you have to be willing to fail. I don't use that word very often. Okay, you have to, if you want to kick ass at shit, you have to see the end. How you want the end to look, how the end is going to be. That's how you roll without limitations. Now, when you do that, then you got to be willing to do whatever it takes. That's where the shit comes in. But we're willing to do whatever it takes. And we can see we want it to end with them sitting their ass down. It's going to end with them going over there and just sitting down, because they can't. They're getting sued in federal court. They can't respond to the federal case law. Somebody been thinking about this for a long time. Welcome to the show tonight, Frederick. Glad you guys could be here. Oh, so one of the things I wanted to talk about. I talked to a person today, and they, was telling me about how this one court clerk on the appellate level, and how, they were harassing them and changing their filings and all of that. And they would, okay, so in this program, when they violate you, add their ass right to the thing. You can handwrite their name while you're there. If the clerk saying, no, we're not taking your stuff, or giving you a hard time, and that's I'm not going to, I'm not going to have drama. Okay, when I went to file to my friend to file something in a plea, and they gave her a hard time, I'm like, no, I'm behind. I don't think they knew I was with her. And then I stepped up, they gave me a hard time too. So I made the changes that they wanted me to make. I scratched out the judge's name, and I moved defendant over there, and I crossed out supplemental pleading, and I wrote amended complaint. And then while I was doing that, the supervisor clerk was letting me know. Now the judge gets to rule. The judge will be ruling on it, because I wasn't done writing. So when I got done making all the changes, I initialed it over here on this side, because both of them, the clerk and the clerk supervisor, was standing right there watching. They carry more weight than notary public, and they're right here. I'd have paid them if they wanted me to pay the $5. No, I wouldn't have paid their shit. Sorry, I lied on that. We're not to pay them shit. Okay. So I signed it, initialed it, and then I looked at my friend Julie, who was already telling me, once you change it, then they're not going to look at, here, I need you to initial this too, because it's your thing. So she initialed it. When she initialed it, she saw a look on their faces. We just was forced to violate our own due process. And then we signed and notarized it. We notarized it, because they were standing right there watching, laid it back under the thing. And then I told them I needed a copy of it. So what they did was and I didn't realize this until a week later, after I drove all the way back to Kansas, and I was organizing the paperwork in notebook binders, how I do things. So that you got the last thing that was filed is on the top when you open up the notebook binder. Open up and put the paperwork down. Wait, they went and printed one page. I wanted a copy of the whole document. I didn't really, because it was a whole lot going on. And I'm trying to make sure that I didn't go to jail with my friend there. Now, okay, so, I looked at the page, and what they did was that they just copied off the page and gave me one page. And then what they gave her didn't have that one page of stuff. The title was moved all the way up like that. There was no heading, no names, none of that. The title moved all the way up, and it was changed. Like, what the hell? Yeah. Now, so I don't argue with them. I'm not taking nothing back either. Okay. If I go to file something, I'm not bringing it back. I mean, that's just no. And the first time I did that, I left the shit in the bathroom. I need to make a bunch of changes on it anyway, but I in the shitter for somebody. Okay, so that's why they don't like me. Okay, but so here's the thing. Okay, once you give that to them, they go back there and they chew on it and get themselves all worked up, and then they come back all mad and trying to look all cool and tell you they can't. I would just tell them, look, you guys on camera taking my stuff. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, it's files. Okay, none of you have authority to make a determination on my document. The judge doesn't either because I need judicial determination. Okay, we're not gonna go there. That's being a little picky right now. Okay, because the judge ain't here, and the clerks don't have judicial authority to make a determination on anybody's document. So we'll just turn around and leave. Now, how do I know this stuff? Okay, because we had a guy that did that in federal court. He was a black man, and they was giving him a bunch of crap, and he told him, I'm not taking it back. Of course, what he did was, and you don't want to do this because this makes it really, really, he tried to file like 10 documents all at the same time. The lawsuit, the thing, the counterclaim. Bless his heart. Okay, you didn't have to punch him with all of. You got to have some fun. Okay, after what y'all ass been through, putting up with all of this stuff, you got to have some fun. Okay, and that's the fun. So he just told him, look, I don't care what you do with it. I'm on camera right there, and he walked. He said, well, he said that he went to some other offices and some other floors to try and find the prosecutor's office. So the federal prosecutor could go up there and get them. It's like, no, that's not how that goes, man. It's a good thing you didn't find the federal prosecutor's office, okay? Because they ain't trying to hear none of that right now. Anyway, so he walked out and got in his car. And he said he was just sitting in his car and then he got a phone call because they make you put your number on the paperwork. And the clerk called him. Now, the clerk couldn't have told him a better lie than this. The clerk said, we talked to our pro se attorney and they said we had to file it. So that was filed and we'll mail you a copy or whatever. And so that's how we do that. We just don't take it back. You don't have to take it back. Okay, we're gonna just let that sit right on there. Yeah, so this package, well, all of my packages I think are revolutionary. This package is a package that a lot of people can use because a lot of times people change in relationships, people change in their head. Some people have mental health issues, and all of these things cause these changes and cause problems. And, at the end of the day, life is life's too short to be unhappy. And you're not going to be happy if it's going to cost you everything to do this. Now, even if you're not cheating or you don't have no problem like that, but you both have changed and you want to go different directions, this is an avenue to do that for $300. Now, it's going to require the other things, some negotiating and whatever. Okay, but that's a whole lot better than the chopping. And I'm just going to say it's a whole lot better than the chopping. Now, if there's no way to do that because we're too far down the rabbit hole or whatever, then like we said at the top of the show, this package allows you to be in control of how you want things to go. Actually, and Frederick, you're absolutely true. And actually, a bigger value is being able to do it yourself. I don't know. I mean, I was kind of giving him a hard time when he said represent himself. They're not gonna be now. When you get to this, you're gonna be the only one there. So, yeah, so I'm excited to see the review and see how this goes. Now, the first 5 people that invest in this package, I'm going to be coaching with them. So we're not gonna do an online course like we're doing over here because we got to get that one. No. How they respond to it, what they're trying to do, or whatever. This is what we'll talk about in the coaching group. Okay, I need you guys to. I'd like to have a review video that I want to place in my review video playlist on my YouTube channel. You don't necessarily have to have your face in it. I didn't care. But I want a review video of the power you felt you had or don't have or thought you were getting after you reviewed the package and read on what you should already read on the product page, how to follow it. And then I'd also like a review of how they reacted when you took the stuff down there to stick in the face. And then, of course, you can leave a review later on. And this package is not a package where they're going to be forcing you to sign or requesting you, because they don't force you to do shit over here. Requesting that you sign a non-disclosure statement, which is what happens all the time on the prosecutor package stuff, and a lot of times on, which is fine, because the goal is to stay in your house and to get your deed out of their office. Okay. And then if you have any other goals you want to add in after that, because some of you have been beat up for quite a while. So you're gonna need to add some more goals in there. I'd also make sure they straighten up the credit report and remove your information from the association, the Register of Deeds Association, and the land bank. Move your information from the land bank to there's a land bank. Yep. State corporation is crushed. And this marriage dissolution stuff is real easy because they're totally throwing you under the bus. Totally. And you can do it without even, sometimes if you got kids, you shouldn't ever want to make the other person look bad in front of the kids. But, so you can use it because of the crap the state did. They didn't have to tell you. They didn't disclose anything. So thank you guys for coming, and heck, look forward to talking. After you get your package, you need to head over to the YouTube channel and find the instructional video playlist. Well, actually, now you don't need to do that because this whole thing is totally different. And all of them, I need to remember that. All the instructions are right on the product page on the website. So that's the easiest way. You can print them off is what I would suggest people do. Copy and paste them or something, print them off. Oh, also have them on the bottom of the website. On the bottom of the lawsuit page. Instead of having a zip file or people gotta do all this stuff, I just put everything on one big old long page, and it's a Word document. So you can open it up. It might be jumped around a little bit. You can figure that out. Now, you also need to remember, you need to copy and paste that shit into your own Word on your computer. You should always save the original file clean. And the reason we do that is if I send you something from behind, that's not behind the website, and you don't copy and paste it, then your information is going to show in my master file. And you always want to keep the master file clean. So, when you start your legal business and helping other people with this marriage dissolution situation, then, you don't necessarily have to tell them that you used it. But, it's in some cases that'd be good, depending on the situation. At some point, sometimes you just want to look like professional kicking butt. It ain't nobody's business what your shit is. Ain't nobody's shit what your business is. Okay, and get that shit worked out. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys in the next time.